This is Julie Hoag with Vegetarians and Meat Lovers Split Table Recipes podcast, where I talk about food and ways to cook for a split table, where some of the members may be people who eat meat and some might be vegetarians, like my own family. And I'm really excited to share this recipe because everybody likes subs, right? Well, sometimes maybe in a vegetarian sub, it might be kind of boring. Maybe you just leave the meat off and you just have the cheese and veggies. That works good too, but sometimes it's kind of fun to have an extra special thing for the vegetarian subs. Now, of course, the meat-eating people can also add this particular sandwich spread to their subs as well. This particular recipe is on my podcast, juliehoagwriter.com, and I will put the link to that down in the podcast show notes so you can easily get through to it. It also is something you can print off my website. One thing I would love to mention is my book, Cabin Crew, is a YA contemporary romance. It's basically a retelling of The Breakfast Club. A bunch of kids are in northern Minnesota, and this was actually patterned after the weather event we had several years ago, where we had a polar vortex storm, and the state kind of shut down. Now, this was just before COVID hit, so shutdowns were more rare, and school was closed for 4 days in a row. Well, that was my inspiration for writing this story. These 7 teens, they're seniors or older teens, so it does cross over a little bit into new adult status, but the book is a YA contemporary romance because they're still in high school, and they get trapped together, and they have to learn how to get along and fix problems, and drama comes up, but romance blooms. So the reason I'm bringing this up is you can read it right now as an ARC copy, an ARC. This is on Book Sirens, and you can search for Julie Hoag, Cabin Crew. I'll also put the link down in the podcast show notes if you're interested in reading it. I have a giveaway going on that you could join, or a free signed book. You could get the ARC on Book Sirens, and it's releasing on April 1st for people who would like to buy it. And I'm really excited. So if you would really like to support me, or you like to read that kind of book, check it out. It's Minnesota-based, and it's really fun. They have a lot of fun, and they go through a lot of drama. A lot of things happen, but it's also a fun rom-com romance where there's some teasing and some little touch of spice, but it is closed door, so there's no actual more happening there. There's a little bit, but it's like, kissing or something like that. It's not, there's no open door stuff. It is closed door, and they don't even go there. So it's a great book. I really enjoyed writing it. Okay, so getting on to this particular recipe, an Italian sandwich spread recipe for vegans and vegetarians. So it can go for both, and it's just really fun. I like to use this for backyard summer entertaining or any time of year, but that's kind of a really fun time to do it. It is vegan, vegetarian. It's dairy-free. You can build your own sub party for food. I think that's really a fun way to do it. People can customize it. That's a great way to make a hybrid setup too, so that you can have, meatless and meat-containing things. So you can set up a bunch of sub supplies, and people can make their own. Works great for picnics too. The spread is super tasty. Like, I even like to just put it on crackers. So that's also an option. So I am looking at my website right now, and I'm going to hit jump to recipe. That's kind of a nice little feature where if you don't want to read my little descriptions or talking about it, you can just go right to the recipe. And so this is what you're going to need for making this. A 15-ounce can of garbanzo beans, which is basically chickpeas, drained. 1 ripe avocado, 2.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. I usually do like a fresh lemon, like 1 large lemon. If you have 1 large lemon, that's usually enough. So I do fresh squeeze. You can use the lemon juice that's already pre-squeezed, of course, as well. 1 teaspoon of basil leaves dried. 1 teaspoon oregano leaves dried. and 1 3/4 ounces of pine nuts, 6 ounces of tomato paste, 1 teaspoon garlic salt with parsley, and 1 teaspoon of onion powder. So you're going to add those chickpeas, a 15-ounce can of chickpeas, to a bowl, and you're going to add in 1 ripe avocado. Ripe is nice because then it kind of like mushes, right? You can smash it. Then you're going to add your juice from 1 lemon, which is about 2.5 tablespoons of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon dried basil leaves, 1 teaspoon dried oregano leaves, 1 3/4 cup pine nuts, and 6 ounces tomato paste, 1 teaspoon garlic salt with parsley, 1 teaspoon onion powder. Blend that with a handheld blender until smooth. So like you make it totally smooth, kind of like a paste, and then it's going to be a spread. So then you're going to take that and you're going to spread it on the sub. So like what I like to do, if you're making a sub sandwich bar for a group of people, these are some of the toppings I like to include so that people can build their own sub. Spinach leaves, butter lettuce, romaine lettuce, red leaf or green leaf lettuce, cucumber slices, olives, pickles, banana peppers, pepper slices, onions, tomato slices, sprouts, vegan cheese or dairy cheese, meat, or pepperoni slices for the meat lovers. Other fun things to add are like sunflower seeds. I don't like to tend to add bigger nuts because they're a little bit harder to eat in the spread. But walnuts, if they're chopped up good enough, those would work too. I guess like a nice little crunch. The sunflower seeds and the walnuts. So it's a definite option thing. And then on my website, I have a picture of like when I ate this last time. It was really good. So I had like all the veggies and the cheese. And then have you ever had those pickled veggies? Like they make those different mixes of pickled veggies like cauliflower, carrots, onions, peppers. I like to put that on the side for this when I serve this. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like, you know how you get a pickle with a sandwich, but it's different because it's all the veggies. So it's really fun. And of course, chips are always fun to have with sandwiches too, soup. But if you're doing it in the summer, I think that these kind of veggies or chips is probably a better call. I don't know. For me, I'm not so much of a soup eater in the summer. I don't know about you guys, but that really isn't necessarily something I like to have in the summer. I don't know. I just have a lot less soup in the summer, maybe because it's hot. Weird though, because we eat other hot foods. I think people associate soup with cold weather, maybe. I don't know. Maybe other people aren't like me, but that's kind of how I think of it. But so try that out. It's a really fun way to do it. And like I said, it's versatile. So you could put it on crackers. You could put it on a bagel. There's so many different ways you could enjoy that. I think another good thing, you could even use it as a dip, really. Like dip your crackers in there, your tortilla chips. It's just another fun way to have a sandwich. You know, sandwiches sometimes can seem like a stale option. So zipping it up with something like this really makes it super fun. And it's a good way to do it. So check it out. And I'll put the link to my podcast down in the show notes so that you can easily get to that and you can print it off if you want. And it just makes it really easy for you. So it's Italian sandwich spread, vegan and vegetarian. So unless you're putting the cheese on the sandwich, obviously then it's not vegan, unless you use vegan cheese. Because there are some, soy vegan cheeses and stuff out there. I keep seeing more popping up all the time. I was just in festival and I saw they have a whole new display now where it's got that stuff. There's non-dairy cheeses and stuff like that. So they're probably creating new things all the time that I don't even know about, which is great because I feel like when I was a kid, those were not options. I always have had cheese, but some people don't like cheese, don't want cheese, or maybe they have a dairy issue. So it's a good alternative to have for people. Things going on for me, it's actually finally getting a little bit warm here in Minnesota. And I'm just super excited about my book coming out. And it is a winter book, but it's coming out on the 1st. I got a little bit delayed because my cover artist had a problem and she didn't deliver on time. So I was scrambling. I was going to publish it much sooner, but she fell through. And it was so heartbreaking. I really like to work with women, and she's a stay-at-home mom with some health issues. She lives down in Florida, and I really wanted to support her as an artist and have her do my book, but she couldn't make it in time, and I was desperate. I had to find a new person, and luckily I did. And so now that's why it's on track for coming out on the 1st. It's super fun. And my other book, if you do like YA contemporary romance, is Hungry Hearts. And that's through a small publisher called Swoon Romance and Month 9 Books. And I do have other books with them that have not been published yet. Hopefully they will get back on track and get those out there. But it's so much fun to write. And I hope you read. I'm really excited. I'm going to try to add it to the local library. Did you know that's a way to really help authors? If you like a book and you want it in your library, if you request it from your local library, they will buy it and stock it in the library. And that's such a great way to help an author grow. There's so many ways that are basically free that you could help an author grow. That's one of them, obviously buying their book. But something that's free is you could do something like that, or you could share their book. You could write a review on Goodreads or Storygraph. Storygraph's a new one. You could write a review on the seller sites. That really helps too. But even just as simple as requesting it at your local library, requesting them to stock it is huge because it gives that author so many more exposures to people and that maybe would potentially read their book, especially if it's locals. Like if anybody's in Minnesota, I would love it if you went and requested my book at your local library. It would make a huge difference for me and really help me grow. Same with my cookbooks. It would be really an honor to be in some libraries. Well, thank you so much for listening to this, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed your hearing about this spread, and I hope you enjoy eating it. It's really good. I really like it. I love playing around with different things. Do you do that when you're making food? Try different recipes. Like there are different things you could do with this recipe. Like you could add in different spices. You could add in a little bit of like garlic salt or there is a garlic salt with parsley. I guess maybe that's too much garlic salt. Let's scratch that. But you could do something different, like switch it out for celery salt or Lowry's seasoned salt. You don't want too much salt, so I would pick one salt. You don't really need the double the salt, right? There's so many different things you could do, though. And just, you could switch out the lemon juice for lime juice. It's another great idea. I need to try that. That sounds really interesting. I think lime juice is underutilized in recipes. It gives a unique flavor, so I think it's something people should do. And the garbanzo beans is a great way to get a little more protein, honestly. And they're healthy for people, all people, whether you're a vegetarian or not. They're a great thing to add. There's so many different things you could switch up. So you should play around with different spreads and making different spreads and take some mayonnaise and flavor it. Have you ever done that? Take some mayonnaise and flavor it with some seasonings and then spread that on your sandwich. I think that's a fantastic idea too. Such a different flavor you can get. And think of all the different spices out there, the different herbs. What you could do to make your sandwich different, a little bit special. Maybe just a fun new flavor. And there's so many to try out. So there's an idea for you. Make your sandwich a little different today and mix in some herbs or spices with your mayo. Or oil. Oil's a good way to do it too. Put in some oil and spread that on your sandwich. Or vinegar. I like to use red wine vinegar a little bit on sandwiches too, just to add a little bit of a flavor. Well, you have an amazing day and thanks for listening. Take care. Until next time. Make sure you're eating good. I know you will. It's so fun. Have an amazing day. Happy spring.